blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Jam in the center.
Yo, did I get everybody's mics? Yes. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, Sean, he gone through the matrix. It happens, man. It is what it is. Good evening, everybody. Welcome again. It's your boy Veep.
Yep.
Friday nights. We appreciate you for stopping into the center. Got my man Mike Precise, D-rated producer, and of course, our guest tonight is my man Sean in the building. Fellas, how are you doing this evening?
We're alive. We're alive.
No doubt, no doubt.
In effect.
So, for those that don't know, the center actually has two music producers, D-Ray being one of them, and every week we let them showcase their musical chops. This joint is D-Ray's cut called, what is that? Is that Betty's?
Betty's Ford. Yeah.
All right, let's check it out. That's actually the theme song Sharita uses for her podcast. Mm-hmm. All right, and make sure I got everything on silent. All right. So yeah, we're gonna pay our bills real quick, and then we'll get into tonight's topic. Dope Jam. That's a dope song, D-Ray.
Thank you
on that.
Sure.
D-Ray, I'll look out for the chat for me, bro. Because sometimes I'm everywhere else, I never see it.
Got it.
Appreciate it. All righty. Let me turn it down a little bit more. All right. So, as you know, tonight is sponsored by BlastRadio247.com. We are the champion of independent music. If you're looking for independent artists all around the globe, there's the QR code. Go ahead and scan it, and it will bring you to BlastRadio247.com. And also, all you independent artists out there that are looking for a home, Blast Music 247 is a place for you. Whether you're an artist, producer, DJ, comic, spoken word poet, we have a place for you. So go ahead and scan the QR code, register as a Blast artist, and they got the freemium account, which is free, and it will allow you to open the door for a lot of access for exposure. So go ahead and check it out, and I'm gonna tell you, you will definitely be blessed by that. All righty. So I know today we're going to tackle a topic that you can never finish this in one conversation, because as long as I've been black, let's put it that way, this has been an issue that most black families don't really talk about. But we're talking about mental health. But the concern that we're going to do is hip hop versus mental health. Do we feel hip hop music, the community, are they doing anything for those who are struggling with mental health? Now, we just had the passing of Herb Gotti, and basically D-Ray, if I'm correct, you told me he knew the Chinese food and all that stuff he was eating, but he didn't even care.
That's
There was
absolutely
something.
right. He was
Right.
he was quoted as saying, you know, they tell me I need to eat healthy, but healthy food is nasty. So that he said it, and at that point, you know, what can you do?
You and I both know there's a way around that.
Do what you're supposed to do. That's the only way around it. But
Yeah. there's smarter decisions that can be made, you know, in the situation of taste. Because I get you. They expect you to eat grass and you're supposed to be happy with it, but there's more to it than that, especially eating healthier,
well,
all that good stuff. Go
you
ahead.
know, I had a doctor explain it to me. And forgive me, y'all, I had some dental work done. But I had a doctor explain to me that, like, when you are going through depression or going through a rough time,
Mm-hmm.
and you sort of fall back on your foods, like your comfort foods, those comfort foods release dopamine in your brain, which is basically like a drug, you know? And so it gives you this false sense of euphoria as you're going through whatever you're going through. The problem with that is it comes with a cost.
Yeah, I do.
You know, Black folks suffer higher from diabetes and high blood pressure and heart disease and obesity, and it comes at a cost. And it feels like a lot of times, especially when we're in the pressure cooker of this country, that we're all looking for a temporary escape while we have to battle every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so while that's not necessarily an excuse to do dumb stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it is a reasoning behind why people make the decisions that they make. You know, we have a growing number of drug overdoses. We have a growing number of drug addictions. There's a study that just was released a couple of days ago that said that black men under 50 who use cannabis have a higher risk of heart disease and heart attacks than any other group, right? And hip hop and weed is synonymous, you know. So we have a lot of factors in that. And while I'm gonna just put this out there, I'm all for getting at the cause and figuring out why we make the decisions that we make, but I'm also a realist, and just some things, some things, the simplest explanation is the best one. You're doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
People. Period.
Mike Precise. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
You got to really want to go after it, and as it relates to hip hop and to our culture and to the music of our culture. We understand what comes along with that, right? So also you also gotta, by this time it's 2025. You gotta know what comes along with your other lifestyle choices. And you know, it's not, come on. I mean, I don't know. I don't think you can cry ignorant to these things anymore, man. You want to do it or you don't want to do it. I mean, and we got kids, man. I mean, at our age, I'm not a grandpa yet. I want to be a grandpa, man. I want to see the future of my adult children. You know, to say, you know, I'm gonna eat what I want to eat, and you know, whatever happens is gonna happen. You know, I'm gonna try to change, but you know, I'm gonna just do what I want to do. Okay, well, dog, you're gonna get your consequences. And then D-Ray, you mentioned that dopamine. Yeah, bro. What's the first 3 letters?
Dopamine.
Dope. and yeah, you want to get right back to it, man. I mean, because of that feeling, that basically that high you mentioned a couple of foods. Yeah, bro. I mean, that's what you do, and it's you got to be willing to try and experiment with different things. And I have done it. I have done it. I have done it. And we were talking about that before we came on. I love my ice cream. I love my pastry. I love you know
Mm.
serious sweet tooth, super serious sweet tooth. I love my chips. I love my wings.
Ooh.
I just finished a Hebrew National hot dog before we came on.
Good. You know
Not,
what? You
not confessing.
not snitching on yourself, Mike. Okay.
Hold on.
Real.
Unapologetic transitions with Jonte. Unfortunately, a lot of attention is placed on drugs such as pill, coke, etc., and alcoholism, but not drugs such as food, sex, shopping, gossiping, religion, etc., and especially being mean to people at church. Shout out to my girl. Shout out to my girl. We go to church together in Salisbury, North Carolina, Promise City. Thank you for tuning in, homie.
No doubt. Drugs in the streets since was never an issue of mine. However, food and sex were. Hey, that's
Right?
keeping it a buck.
Keeping it a buck.
No
I
doubt.
said all that, but there's other massive changes that I've made, and I don't eat them things all the time.
Hmm.
So you know who started eating kale, avocado. Oh, I mean, I could just make a list after list after list of things that I've introduced over the years,
Hmm.
and you know,
It
look,
is what it is.
not afraid yeah, snitch on myself, but because it can help somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you on that. Sean, what's your input on that, my brother?
I think it's two different things. I think we're clashing with classical conditioning, and we're clashing with systemic issues.
Yeah,
Systemically, as a community, we champion our food. I mean, we give praise to our grandmother on how she cook, right? Fried chicken, fried fish,
Yep.
collards, all of
No doubt.
those things, right? Those things make us feel warm and fuzzy inside,
Facts.
no matter what. We champion, our grandmothers and our mothers when they used to cook on a Sunday meal. And that Sunday meal wasn't the healthiest Sunday meal. Sunday meal
Facts.
it didn't consist of kale, it didn't consist of salads, didn't consist of baked goods and things of that nature, or they were, paying attention to what was going inside because we actually grew up in that. And you kind of flip it over to hip hop and you talk about what hip hop, what it reflects. It reflects the culture. It reflects everything that we came up with because,
Right.
hip hop, artists, they just like us. They just got a little bit of money now. So now they're able to go into gluttony, right? And now they
Mm.
are fantasizing the things that we will often fantasize. Rather it's, again, I don't do drugs or nothing like that. I don't fantasize sexual acts like that. But again, you fantasize these things and hip hop magnifies it. So now
Mhm.
you're seeing different things happening in hip hop. You hear the lyrics about,
Mhm.
shorty gotta have a fatty or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm drinking Moet, I'm drinking champagne, I'm drinking this, I'm drinking Cristal, I'm living a high life. And rest in peace, Irv Gotti,
Facts.
phenomenal producer, phenomenal spirit, very ambitious guy. He knew the repercussions of what the road he was going down, but because he was so deep into that, and it's because he was so triggered on that, he didn't care. It wasn't. He wanted to still live the life he wanted to live. And
Yeah.
I did 20 years in the Marine Corps. I retired from the Marine Corps a few years ago,
Simplify.
and thank you,
whatever.
hoorah, hoorah. And what I was taught, even then, nutrition was on the forefront, but we was always taught that you can run that off too at the same time. You drink, you can sweat that out. So again, a lot of things are systemic that we are dealing with, and it's also classical conditioning because we cannot change our mindset into saying, you know what, I need to start eating healthier. I need to
Mhm.
start drinking more water. I need to start juicing. Like I'm juicing right now. I'm about to turn 45 in a couple weeks. So these things are important to me more than they ever have been. And I'm
Facts.
very active in the gym. I go to the gym all the time, very active. But I know that my body is changing. I know that as I get older, there's certain things that I need to continue to sharpen up because again, I'm a hip hop. I love hip hop to the core. I'm from the culture, and those things that they fantasize as an artist, as a lyricist, those are things that I can't allow to penetrate. And I start to try to become that as well. You know what I mean? Even those
Mm-hmm.
commercials, Church's Chicken, Popeye's Chicken or whatever, they make the
Mm-hmm.
commercial look so nice and so glamorous and
Yeah,
so
they do.
so tantalizing. And and when you're hungry, you're looking at that like, yo, I got to go get me some fried chicken from Popeyes, right? Because
Facts.
it sparks
Love that
that
chicken from
dopamine in your mind. It's
Popeye.
like you
Yes.
getting a hit of that dope in your in your system when you see those commercials. So
Facts.
that's my take on it, bro.
No doubt.
You know though, it's funny. I was looking at this article from the University of Cambridge, and they started breaking down rap lyrics as it pertains to mental health,
Mm.
and basically it took it all the way back to 1982 with the message,
Yeah,
Right.
right?
no doubt.
You know, and you think about one of the lines. What's the most famous line in the message? Don't push
Don't
me
push me.
because I'm close to the edge.
Edge.
I'm trying not
Not
to
to
lose
lose
my
my.
head.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like a jungle. Sometimes it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. I
Yeah.
mean, so if we're dealing with that struggle all the way as far back as 1982,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can go down the line. Tupac, So Many Tears. Lil Wayne, Drop the World. Um, you know, all of these other rap lyrics that talk about mental health,
Yeah.
but not a whole lot of solutions. You know,
Mm.
And man,
Yeah. It's
great. That's so many.
Illmatic. You go to Illmatic. Nas was 17 when he wrote Illmatic, and he has a verse in there saying he's being followed by a black cloud. This is a
mm,
17-year-old kid, like
Wow.
the greatest MC of all time, in my opinion, saying this at a very young age. Big made Ready to Die. He's at a young age and
Yeah.
giving a prelude to his death, right?
Yeah.
Saying he don't want to be here no more. My mother's got cancer in her breast. Don't ask me
mm.
why I'm stressed. And he's 20 years old dealing with this trauma.
Yeah.
Man.
And
This,
you know what, man? That's really what it is. It is trauma response. Hip
yeah.
Yeah.
hop as a culture is trauma response.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
get
Boom.
what I mean?
From the
Because how many of us know people in the culture, or maybe even us, that we've always had to be in that position that we had to make something out of nothing?
yeah.
Mm.
You
Absolutely.
you know what
That's
I mean? What
that's
is Digital Underground? No, not Digital Underground. Shock G. He said trying to make $1 out of 15 cents.
Hmm.
Yep.
That's been the struggle since the plantation,
yeah. And
right?
anxiety and depression is in the DNA, literally.
Facts.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
think about
Man.
this business of music. It's already stressful enough.
Facts.
It's already, you got pressures of trying to juxtapose your dreams with making a living. You already got that
Right.
going. You already got uh, competition. You already got the learning curve. You already got all of this stuff. Oh, and by the way, you may have some pre-existing mental health conditions
Yes.
that you got passed down that you didn't even have any say so in.
Yes. That's
Right.
all that epigenetics, man. I mean,
Absolutely.
I love that topic, bro.
Yeah.
I nerded out on that again for like the last like probably 2-3 days
Right.
because it's so deep, man. It's such a deep and heavy
It
topic
is.
down to the DNA, your epi. Okay, okay. You want me to break? I'll break it all out. The epigenetics, the epi part, EPI means outer, and then genetics, outer genetics. It's how outside influences affect your genetics.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
it. You're now. It's possible to turn it around because it is outside influences. So we talking about changing diet. Obviously, diet is going to affect you on the inside, but initially it's an outside influence.
No
You got to
doubt.
get information. You got to keep at it,
Yeah.
right, in order for it to make a change. But if you don't change your outer circumstances, it's much harder. Even if you did change your diet,
No doubt.
Mm.
but for us, even if you did change your diet, And you're going to so you got healthy people dying. It's the stresses and all of that stuff get literally passed down. You know, there's been studies on uh, uh, um, Holocaust victims.
Mm-hmm.
There's a study out there on Holocaust victims and the traumas and stuff that they went through, the survivors that they went through, are passed down to the grandchildren, yo. The grandchildren are acting out as if they had the same experiences
Mm.
as their grandparents.
Hold
That's
on,
wild.
hold on. Let me catch up on these comments.
Yeah.
My homie said she's been on a weight loss journey for 10 years. At her heaviest, she was 263. At her lowest, she was 173. Emotional health plays a very significant role. Um, let's
Uh,
see.
Health and wellness.
Lasting good health is an inside out job. Facts.
Yeah.
And this one, this comment sort of echoes some of the things that we do with Blast, because we're all about trying to encourage all of us to go to the gym and do what
Mm-hmm.
we do. The gym for me is about much more about weight loss or management. It's one of the primary ways for me to maintain a healthy mind.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Word.
because
Absolutely.
I'm a swimmer, and so I am very calm in the water. Right
Mm.
now, it's a struggle for me to get there because I have so many mental health hurdles to get to the point of wherein I can get where I can ease my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But to echo something that you said, Mike, they did studies during the pandemic where they said that PTSD
Mm.
now is something that's passed down from generation to generation.
Really?
So
Absolutely.
so
Wow.
imagine the trauma that our great grandparents experienced
Hmm.
during slavery and during Jim Crow, and that's in your DNA now,
Yeah. And
Mm.
get
right?
it even worse.
Right. You know, I'm and for this podcast, y'all know I'm kind of a research king. I looked at National Library of Medicine, and they did a content analysis of mental health discourse in popular rap music,
Mm.
and one of the findings was that between the years of 1998 and 2018, they looked at 125 popular rap songs, and they saw significant increases in the proportion of songs with references to suicide,
Yeesh.
depression, and metaphors representing a mental health condition.
Mm.
Now, for me, I feel like, and you guys can agree or push back, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like part of the culture had always been to not say nothing. We've
Yeah.
always had this. We've always had this not snitching mentality when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to crime or come to whatever. But we're also we're not supposed to snitch on what we're going through mentally, what we're going through physically. We're supposed to keep that to ourselves. Real men don't cry.
That
And
part.
at the end of the day, now you are busting an internal pipe, because you ain't letting no pressure out.
Mm.
Mm.
You know. So, what you guys think about that?
150% agreed. Go ahead, bro.
No,
Uh,
I agree. I
uh,
agree. Everything is dormant to us, right? Everything
Mm.
internal is dormant, and it takes certain things to unlock it.
Mm.
And when you think about music, if you guys are anything like me, I can pretty much pinpoint where I've been in life based off the music I was consuming at that time.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
music has like been like a travel agent for me, if you will, throughout my life. So there's certain things that you kind of hold dormant, and certain things can unlock it. It could be a conversation, it could be music, it could be anything that could unlock the things that you was probably holding in tight. Because as you mentioned, as men, especially as an alpha man, a man of your house, man of your home,
Mm-hmm.
you want to carry the burdens of everything around you.
Mm-hmm.
I shared an expression with my team before where I was saying I'm holding the ceiling up, but I'm also holding you guys back because I don't want you to get close to me while I'm holding the ceiling. Because I don't want you to embrace me. I don't want the help. I don't need the help. I want
My
to be
man
able to
Mike.
try to. I want to support you all by myself. because I
Mm,
feel like as a man, I don't want to ask anyone else for help, right?
mm,
So it's one of those things where you got certain things that you, like you guys said, everything's passed down. The trauma that our forefathers, our foremothers went through, it's in our DNA. It's dormant. A lot of it is dormant. It takes a lot of
hmm.
prayer. It takes a lot of
Yeah.
God, please help me get through this. But it's
Facts.
one of those things where certain things can unlock that dormancy, and now you are stressed with the burdens of
Mm,
things that probably you didn't even have. You're just born with
right,
it, right? That you never
right,
experienced directly, or is indirect hits.
Yeah.
right.
I think one of the best things is to, and I mean, I haven't gone to a therapy, but I've heard a lot, and I've had a lot of advice. But one big thing is, if you cannot do it yourself, you need to have somebody walk you through looking and examining your own self. And
Absolutely.
your
Kev in the building.
your thoughts. What up, Kev?
Here's the thing, though.
People talk about
Yeah.
and things
Oh,
like
go
stuff.
ahead.
And I realized, I don't know if any of y'all ever been jumped before, robbed before, had certain, seen certain things, but don't that stuff stays with you.
I
And
bet.
it's like I recognize things that I do still to this day that are because of experiences that
Hmm.
that I've had. And you catch yourself if you try to be aware. If you're consciously trying to stay aware of your own self, you know, your own self talk, your own, our culture likes to call it knowledge of self. That knowledge of self is not just spiritual. It's examining your actual habits.
Well, I'll go ahead and say this, because what you're speaking of, in my opinion, is basically you're talking about triggers.
Yeah.
What is triggering you, and what triggers that? Just to kind of be slightly transparent, we're coming up on a year since my father passed away.
Mm,
Um, Ironically, Sean, my father was a Marine, and my father died last year on 420.
Mm.
wow.
God got a sense of humor, for real, for real. If you get it, you get it.
Hmm.
Um, but my dad had substance abuse problems pretty much all of his life, right?
Mm.
And where did that come from? That came from lack of a father in the house. That came from
Mm,
a lot of times it came from, and let me be very careful how I say this. It came from protection in the wrong at the wrong time. There are
mm,
some lessons that black men, there are some walls we really need to hit for our growth.
mm,
I remember hearing the Honorable Louis Farrakhan say one time that there's nothing on planet Earth that grows without some degree of pain.
Yeah.
And a
mm,
lot of times
Or stress.
our black women do everything they can to prevent black men from experiencing pain. They try to protect us from it. And in some cases, that's a problem.
hmm.
You know what I mean? That
Hmm.
leads to further trauma, and it's not intentional, but
Right.
sometimes that does happen, you know?
Mhm.
No, we don't.
Then, hold on, and then mix in a little bit of the military indoctrination and the military
Yeah.
expectation of you're no longer an actual human being, you're a killing machine, you know?
Mm,
That takes a lot, you know?
mm.
Mm.
Wow. So I tell you what, fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in on our music, and then I want to do a temporary reset because I definitely want to highlight my man Sean. And we didn't do our normals that we do because we jumped right into this amazing topic. But what we do here, Sean, is we love to reminisce about hip hop. That's the main reason. And I have a track that's gonna bring us back. I want you to think where you were when you heard this song. I'm gonna stop the music for a sec. All right, so let's see if y'all remember this cut right here. Check it out.
Brother, what is with you? You can't take a hint. I need to shove a squint between your eyes for you to see you and me were never meant to be. Your homeboy likes me, I like him too. Get out the picture. I get your point, but I'm not rolling with the punch. I scrunched up the letter you wrote me in lunch. In fifth period, I paid no notice to the emotion. My work is on the table, my pen's in locomotion. Every time I turn around, you're looking in my face. I try to ignore you. The bell rings, I race out the room. Soon to another room, sit down. What do you know? The lover's in town, the other brother, the one I was to talk to, sitting 3 seats back, and I'ma walk over to him and give him the letter I wrote, because my feelings towards him are ruined, you know. Money in the middle, yeah, money's in the middle, in the middle, money in the middle, in the middle, yeah. Mo, what is she? Money in the middle, money in the middle, in the middle, yeah, money in the middle, in the middle, money in the middle, in the middle, yeah. Mo, what is she? Money in the middle. In seventh, the knucklehead walks in and sits down beside me. I said, yo, why you trying to rob me? Day in, day out, I can't seem to get you off my back. What do you think that I should do about that? In fact, it's embarrassing. What a buffoon. You even follow me in the ladies' bathroom. Give me a break, I can't take it. The stakes are too high. Besides, there goes the other brother. I'm not cute sweat, so don't sweat me. The other brother's smooth approach is what gets me. He intrigues the more you know, so I suggest the course towards me, you blow. You're wasting time pursuing Moni, cause she's pursuing the lover only. And as my mother did, she told me, go for what you know, Mo. Yo, Moni in the middle, yeah, Moni's in the middle, in the middle, Moni in the middle, in the middle, yo, Mo, what is she? Moni in the middle, Moni in the middle, in the middle, yeah, Moni in the middle, in the middle, Moni in the middle, in the middle, yo, Mo, what is she? Moni in the middle. And everybody knows that I'm no longer in the middle. I've made my decision precisely. Precision is a must for me to solve another riddle. Step into a brand new rhythm. Ism, schism. No, I'm not with him. I give him my undivided attention. You know what I'm saying? No type of games I'm playing when Moni is the middle. In the middle, yeah. Moni in the middle. In the middle. Moni in the middle. In the middle, yo. Mo, what is she? Moni in the middle. Moni in the middle. In the middle, yeah. Moni in the middle. In the middle. Moni in the middle. In the middle, yo, Mo, what is she? Moni in the middle, Moni in the middle, in the middle, yeah, Moni in the middle, in the middle, Moni in the middle, in the middle, yo, Mo, what is she? Moni in the middle, Moni in the middle, in the middle, yeah, Moni in the middle, in the middle, Moni in the middle, in the middle, yo, Mo, what is she? Moni in the middle, Moni in the Moni in the Moni in the middle, Moni in the Moni in the Moni in the middle, Moni in the Moni in the Moni in the middle, the middle, the middle, the middle, Moni in the Moni in the Moni in the middle, Moni's in the Moni's in the Moni's in the middle, Moni in the Moni in the Moni in the middle, the middle, the middle, the middle, Moni in the middle, the middle, Moni in the middle, the middle, the middle, the middle, Moni in the middle.
Yeah, man.
Can we
I'm trying to figure out where that was. I don't know.
Can we wrap our heads around the fact that song is 35 years old?
Was that the original?
That was the original.
I was a senior in high school, man.
I don't remember.
Oh my god!
I was 10 years old.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Rub it in, Sean.
I mean, thanks, Sean. Appreciate that, man.
Nah, but I'm with you, Kev. Moni in the middle. I had a hardcore crush on Moni, man. No doubt. She was a cutie.
Moni was one of my play cousin's friends. I went over my cousin's house and she was there. I'm like, oh.
It's like that.
Yeah. Oh, you
Yo.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead, Mike.
Queens,
Yes.
Corona Queens.
Yeah, so I lived well, I was born in Jamaica, but
Queens, everybody.
yeah,
Gotta be specific.
Queens get the money. Queens get the money.
but Springfield Gardens, Laurelton, St. Albans, that's where the kind of the stomping ground was. I lived in Hempstead when later.
Hempstead. Yeah.
That's the grown up spot.
No doubt.
Yeah, met Moni a few times at my cousin's house. I'm like, what is this in Laurelton? I'm like, and I was, you know, it was cool. We was doing our thing back then at the same time.
So Sean, let us know when it came to hip hop, what made you fall in love with hip hop? What can you remember that made you say, I'm stuck with this right here?
Man, my uncles. God bless the dead. One of my uncles, he was an MC. I had another uncle was a break dancer. You know what I mean? So that's the culture right there. You know, you're
No
talking
doubt.
about the early 80s. You got an MC, you got a break dancer, you got the graffiti. That's the indoctrination for hip hop in the 80s, right? It wasn't about like lyrics, it wasn't about beats. Because all the beats were pretty much, you guys are producers. The beats were like really the same. It was just like boom, everything was pretty much the same. It wasn't a lot of intricacies when it came to the beat. It was just about who can move the crowd. That was an MC, master of
Yes, sir.
ceremony.
No
And
doubt.
my indoctrination was more so just being around the culture. I think when I first heard Rakim, I was stuck. I was like, yo, this guy's serious. And this is like 87, 88. Like this guy's serious. And I just fell in love from hip hop from there. But it all started with just the culture of it, you know, just the break dancing, the graffiti, the slang, the way we, you know, the way we talk, the way we, communicated to one another. You know, LL had the swagger, had the style. He's from Queens, of course. All of those things were synonymous to me for hip hop.
No doubt. So I want you to go back once again. And when you were able to scrounge your pennies together, what was the first album or cassette?
No, wait a minute. Wait. You know good and cotton picking well Sean ain't buying no album or no cassette because he already said he was 10 in 1990.
Should we say first AP3?
His first CD. We'll go ahead. We'll give him CD.
Okay.
We'll give him CD. But we ain't giving him cassette or no album.
Okay.
We know better.
Yo, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
We know better.
It was cassette. I bought a cassette.
What was their first cassette, bro?
It was actually on Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers.
Okay.
Nice.
1993. I was 13.
That's a hell of a first cassette.
No doubt. Do you remember the first hip hop concert you went to?
Wu-Tang.
Oh, he's Wu all the way. Got it.
All the way, man. Wu all the way. Yes, sir.
That's what's up.
Was it
Go
like
ahead.
Jersey or where was it?
That was the one I went to was when they were at the height of Wu-Tang. It was like 97. And I was actually in Sumter, South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And they came to the exhibition center.
Okay.
Right before I went to boot camp. And I saw them right before I went to boot camp. That was like bucket list, seeing Wu-Tang in concert for the first time.
Do you remember, I don't know if you noticed, but do you remember if the Fruits of Islam did security at that show?
Yes.
Y'all remember the story I told y'all that I tried to book them at UNC Charlotte?
Right.
And I told them, I said, don't worry about security. Fruits of Islam is going to be there. And they were like, Fruits of who?
Yes. And for a while I was there. They were deep because, you know, during that time, you know, 5%, even the 5%ers was running heavy. Heavy.
Nice.
And they were all around. And they were clicked up well. So yeah, it was heavy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. Wow. All right, so I wanted to jump into some of these notes that we're going to keep back on the topic, more or less, mental health and hip hop. But here's one aspect of some of the struggles that we've been going through. Is the hustle killing us? The grind culture, the mental burnout. Like in hip hop, there's constantly pressure to grind nonstop and to never sleep. But how does this culture of relentless work impact your mental health? What does the grind stop being? When does the grind stop being motivation and start becoming self-destruction?
Okay, I got to go first with this one.
Go ahead, brother.
This reminds me of the story of John Henry. Right?
What?
John Henry was
Word.
still driving man.
Yes, sir.
And he was, and actually, this is based on an actual former slave named John Henry from
Mhm.
Virginia, and he could, real strong, muscular, powerful dude, and he had a race against a machine to see who could break the most rocks to clear this mountain tunnel.
Mhm.
He won against the machine, but it also cost him his life.
Yeah.
Mm.
He died beating the machine.
Yeah.
I always relate when we're out here grinding and we're out here trying to make a living. We're out here fighting against what? The machine.
Mm.
Whatever that machine looks like, whatever that Goliath is in your life, we're out here fighting the machine. And the longer we fight that machine, the closer to death we get. And that's just
Facts.
the reality.
Facts. Facts.
The balance. And it's hard to. It's, for some people, it's hard to find. Some people, it's hard to. I mean, for for some people, it feels like this is a calling. This is what I was made to do. This is what I'm built for, and that's cool. Do it, do it. But you gotta recognize when it's too much, and it's like you gotta. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it's like to not have somebody in my life that can check me. I don't know what it feels like to not have that.
Mm.
So when somebody is just like, can't accept can't accept a word from somebody else that loves you. I used to tell kids sometimes, like, who is it in your life that you love? Who do you love the most? And who loves you the most? And some of them be sitting there just trying to think. And some of them automatically has somebody. And it's like this how do you grow? I don't your mindset of you have to sit there and wonder and think who loves you,
Yeah.
bro. How do you do that? And then now as you get older and you want to get into the professional world, or in our case, you trying to do this music and get in this business, and now you going hard. You feel like you got something to prove, and it's like you just grinding, and then it's like, yo, you even if you meet a little bit of a success, and now anybody that got something to say, oh, they hating, and then you got anger, you got a chip on your shoulder. You still don't really trust people. You don't have nobody that you still at that point probably don't have nobody that you really love. You probably smashed a whole lot of chicks but you don't have people that you love. And I don't, that's a hard thing, especially for our people and our men, that you are this almost like this cold character that you created, and you can't get in touch with that
Yeah.
10-year-old, that 13-year-old, and you don't even understand how to make that work.
Mm.
And Lou, I made a list of rappers, famous rappers, all depression, bipolar, talking about suicidal thoughts, and these are successful dudes.
Yeah.
And maybe they love their mother, and couldn't keep no relationship with no girl, with no woman,
Mm-hmm.
and it's I mean, for us, lots of people, all cultures have this. Everybody has this. White, black, Asian, everybody have this. But for us in particular, we got Jim Crow behind us. We got we got ghetto life behind us. We got it's like it's worse for us. Anytime you talk about something that affects people, it usually always affect black people the worst. And it's like it's we got a lot.
Mike, I appreciate you saying that, and I do want Sean to respond. But the culture that we live in this country still has a problem with seeing black men as human beings. And still has a problem with the perception of black men not being beasts of burden. You know what I mean? Like we're no better than a pack animal on carrying out a job, and it's very easy to tell an animal to be quiet, and you don't have any feelings when you're trying to get a job done.
Well,
Right.
And what my homegirl said right here, please understand that the silence is deafening. Those emotions come out one way or another.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, those emotions come out in addiction. They
yeah,
come out in violence. They
yeah,
come out in suicide, in homicide, in assault, and unfortunately, come out in death. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what I feel like we need to make more of a concerted effort to start speaking up,
yeah.
because the
Yeah.
culture is definitely trying to keep us quiet.
Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I think I think that grind mentality starts very early. We
Yeah.
were always taught that in order you have to work for what you got, what you need, and what you got to get. You was always taught that you have to work harder than someone
That's
else because you're not starting out on second or third base. You're not even starting out in the dugout. You're starting out in the parking lot. You got to work your way to the dugout and to get the first, second, third base, right? So
Dang.
you're already starting way behind a power curve. So now you have to figure out how do I grind to get there? And sometimes we get there and we don't even know that we're there. I think about the movie Dark Knight Rises with Batman. He was fighting Bane, and Bane said, "Victory has defeated you." And when I remember hearing that, and I played that over and over for like a few weeks
mm,
because I felt like I reached a point in my life where I had all the pelts on the wall, all of the awards and everything from the military.
Jay
My
Saw in the building. What's up, brother?
Jay, what's up, Jay? So I need to get with Jay. It's my guy. Um, but I felt like when I was winning at a high level, I had to pray harder, to
Word.
stay close. Like, God, please keep me close. Don't let me slip away. Because once you get to that point where, especially as a hip hop artist, when they reach to that platinum status, they reach that diamond status. Look at Kanye. Kanye is a prime example of that. You know, we created Kanye. We created this new version of Kanye because we heralded him as being one of those guys, as being a phenomenal, brilliant artist. And
Right.
now because of that, he's spiraling out of control in broad daylight in front of all of our faces, right?
Yeah.
We created that. Victory has defeated him because he was winning so many times, so many different ways then now it's starting to defeat him because he cannot accept his own failures within himself. And that's what happens to us so often. We can't accept our failures within ourselves. So we're going to continue to keep fighting and keep grinding because in our mind saying grinding is a fly thing. Yeah, I'm gonna grind to get what I need. It's a fly thing to say, but why not work smarter as
right.
opposed
Mhm.
to always having to grind? Because
Right.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. They're not grinding like we grind. They're working a little bit smarter. They're using networks. They're using the resource. They're maximizing the resources.
Yeah,
You know
Yep.
who our resources are? Our right and our left hand, and us. We
facts,
are our resources. You
facts.
know, you know what I mean? So we have to manufacture wins. We have to manufacture resources just to get where we need to go. Whereas others got resources at bountiful resources that they don't have to really lean heavy into. So I think that's where that ground mentality come from.
It
Mm.
does, and I mean it. And it's, once again, I'm not giving anybody excuses because I know people want to talk about Kanye, and I'm fine if y'all do. Y'all know how I feel about that, but there is a mentality that goes back to the plantation where black people and former slaves got this thing of kicking our kids out of the nest,
Yeah,
and you either fly or you fail,
facts.
and you got to figure it out. Now, other cultures don't do that.
right.
Um,
Right.
Other cultures, there is a gradual progression of getting you going, until you can do it on your own, and there is a patient process. With us, it's now. because there's a generation that wants you to help them because
Mhm.
now they're too tired to do what it is they want to do, or maybe they never had the opportunity to do it, and so they're putting
Mm.
that responsibility on their kids, right?
Indeed. Indeed.
That comes at a mental toll of being pushed into a world that you're not prepared for and that you're not ready
Absolutely.
for. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm.
And but that go back to what we were saying before. How do you break even the generational trauma, right? Like for me, my mother and father, they worked very hard. My father was doing his thing or whatever, in and out of prison and all these things was, just whatever. Um, but they didn't have post-secondary education. So I wanted to break that and going in the military, being able to get my college degree and everything, all of that. I wanted to set a new tone moving forward because I have a 13-year-old daughter. I want her to
Whew.
not have to live through the things that I probably had to live through, right? When I was coming up. I didn't have my parents wasn't pushing me. They weren't together. My mother and father, they had a wedlock. They were young when they had me. So they weren't never together. But they never really pushed me to say, okay, Sean, go to college. Sean, go to military. It was more about, yo, just find a career that you like. It wasn't like a direction. It wasn't like here's ABC to get to where you need to go. By God's grace, I was able to, put myself in a situation to figure that out, through the military, through college, through career, so on and so forth. But I wanted to break that chain, if you will, and start anew. So my daughter can say, okay, my dad did X, Y, Z. So now there's no more excuses for her because I'm breaking the chain that probably was going to be traumatic for her that was going to be passed down to her. I had to break that so she only get the blessings that I'm hoping that I can pour into her as she grow through her years. Um, but to your point, bro, it's like one of those things where do it stop and where do it end and where do it begins because we just don't know because we still grinding regardless. We
Right.
winning, but we still going after it. And what are we going after? We don't even know.
You know what? And sometimes I think that we get in the grind and I've been reminded of this, by my wife, that you get in the grind so much that you forget why you in the grind.
Exactly.
The grind becomes the life.
Yeah.
You know what I
Life.
mean? And you forget that, there might be a kid that needs some help on some homework around here, or it might be a dish that needs to be washed. I'm over here trying to make this beat and make this next hit and trying to
Yeah.
get on a movie or something, and
Mm-hmm.
there's life happening around me that has nothing to do with this grind.
Yep.
And so yeah, that's a hard pivot when
Uh-huh.
you are conditioned and when it seems, and this is a real picky, touchy uh, topic, when it seems that the ones with the less feelings get the most credit,
Facts.
Mm.
and the
Facts.
ones with the ones that are more machine like, get the most respect.
Facts.
Wow.
Now, if you could pull it off, like even if, okay, let's say even if the grind costs you your life, right?
They still get hand clapped.
There is a culture that says you're supposed to die for this grind so that your loved ones can not struggle as much. You're supposed to give your life for
Absolutely.
that,
That's exclusive.
Absolutely.
you know?
That
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's hard when you recognize that. So
Mhm.
y'all really want me to die so that you know
Yeah.
you really want me to die for this? You
Yeah.
really
Right.
want to spend that insurance money? All right, I've been putting it off and I've
Yeah.
been putting it off and I've been putting it off.
Yeah.
I'm a pivot into this Kanye conversation
and
because my hold on,
dead
what'd you say?
at that funeral, your grown children, maybe they crying,
Yikes.
Bruh,
maybe
bruh,
maybe the grandchildren barely knew grandma and grandpa.
bruh. You know what? I'm
Right
thinking of
funeral.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm thinking about Gene Hackman and his wife
Oh man.
that's dead, and the kids are so unapologetic that they hadn't even claimed their bodies yet,
Yeah.
right? That's how pissed off those kids are. And it's just
Yeah.
like when that grind becomes so heavy, it's just like, whew. Okay, blah. All right, I got to go back to this comment that my homie put up. She said, "Moms are terrible about putting that pressure on their children."
Oof.
Now imagine you got a mom who is a dominant figure in your life. She's both a positive and a negative force in your life, and she pushes you to greatness. And now here you are, you're in the throes of greatness, and she dies.
Mm.
And that was the only support that you actually had. She might have been the only one that could tell you you fucking up.
Talking about Donda.
Basically.
Now, that right there is the only excuse I'm gonna get at dude, because he been ticking me off a whole lot here lately. What did Kev say concerning Kanye? I also heard a point not spoken of recently. Christina brought up the fact that he may have a form of CTE, and he has all the signs of men how they suffer from a serious head trauma.
Mm.
Well, I can't really speak on that. And what I was about to say, I'm gonna stop myself because Mr. SB was about to show up, V. But I mean, it's plausible. But at the end of the day, we still have to be responsible for our choices.
That part.
The neurological exam can show a lot of stuff, can reveal a lot of brain activity, and we can literally see where your brain is lighting up and where it's not lighting up.
Kev says that fact allows him to see him. Wait a minute, to see him with not so much, but a little more grace. Okay.
That's on Kev to give the grace, D-Ray,
Yeah,
not you.
yeah.
D-Ray holding that grace back like a Chinese in
No,
the
man. I gave that
that
dude
duck
grace.
sauce.
No, man.
I ain't coming out this duck sauce.
No more duck sauce. No more.
You never had a friend that's like,
oh. No, you got that friend that the only grace that you can give them is distance.
So you can do
because you know for a fact. When I'm talking to people, I'm like this. I said, you know why when the Titanic or when any other ship sinks, you know why people got to swim away when they jump into the water?
Because it'll pull you in.
Because it'll pull you in
sure
if
will.
you're too close, right?
Yep.
Sometimes you just got to give people distance. And I think, in my opinion, I don't know Kanye. I've never met the man.
Right.
But I'm to the point now that I got to give you some distance because I see something, and it's something that sadly happens to a lot of our musical intelligentsia, where you get to a certain level and you're not seen as human anymore, and it makes it easier for them to destroy you.
Yeah. That's the excuse.
Absolutely.
That's the whole excuse for it. That's the whole excuse for the destruction. Oh, filling the multiple blanks that get filled in with all kinds of comments and crazy.
So look, I'm gonna dish one more question because I'm gonna tell you fellas, this could easily be a 3-hour session because it's one of those endless questions, no real answers until some serious change takes place. But the question here is, who heals the healer? The emotional toll of storytelling. Rappers often carry the trauma of the community in their lyrics. For those who express deep pain in their music, who helps them heal? Do fans expect too much emotional labor from artists without considering the weight of their words?
The artistry is a part of the healing itself. The artistry itself.
Absolutely. I agree.
I would say this. I was telling somebody the other day that artists are born with a vial of medicine in their spirit. That's for them. That's just for them. It's like, and I will pull it up with the poem that if all you Boondocks fans, that when they told Huey say something deep, and he quoted a poem from Khalil Gibran when he talks about drinking the bitter potion within. I'm a try to pull it up, but we all have that vial that's in us that this art is for us, right? It's not the responsibility of a fan to worry about my mental health or to worry about my well-being. The responsibility of a fan is to like the art that I produce. My mental health and my well-being is my responsibility. Period.
Mm-hmm. Give me a
Go
sec,
ahead,
D-Ray.
Jason.
Jay Saw said a lot of times we use our past as an excuse for how we are, but all of us has the same opportunity to change our future. We got to use our past as fuel to change instead of letting our past be a weight. You go,
But
Jason.
but Jason, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna push back because I agree with you 1,000%. But what happens when your top selling record of all time deals with nothing but your past?
Mm.
Okay.
And now your industry, your livelihood, your money is all built on music that you got to go and revisit other stuff that you're trying to get away from.
Well, then you become Prince.
I was thinking that. I'm glad you said that, Mike. And for the uninitiated,
Hopefully.
Prince would not do any of his early stuff towards later in life, towards the time that he was unfortunately about to pass. He wouldn't go back and do any of that stuff that glorified sex and drugs and any of that stuff. He was like, nope.
Even if you don't get to that level, come on, Prince. Oh, Prince, come on. Even if you don't have to be, superstar. You don't have to be superstar status. If you have gone through something and you feel like you have legitimately changed, and you know that if I go back here, it's gonna be a problem. Well, bro, just don't go back there. What is more valuable to you? What's worth more to you? What do you really, really want? You want the accolades of the people, or you want your life and your family and whatever else you got, that when all of that stuff is gone, this is what you're gonna be left with. We gotta make grown up big boy choices
every day.
We gotta think.
So family, I'm gonna pause you one more time. As you know me, I always like to give a little interlude. Check this out right here. This is so dope.
The race is open, the party is jumping. I got the rhymes to keep your body bumping, to keep you rocking. That's what I intend. This ain't number one on the sweet tea agenda. I'ma break it down so you can see the skillful way I recite my poetry. Quick as a flash, I pop up on the scene. Break out the Casio and the drum machine. Got to get busy cause I know I'm down. I tap into my instruments, this funky sound. Prone to make your body start to perspire. As I turn the volume up higher and higher. Grab my JVC, popping a cassette. Have the people stomping to my beat, you bet. What? For my friends cause it sounds so neat and they ask, what do you call it? It's my beat.
What do you call it?
It's my beat. It's my beat. Yeah. That's what's up, y'all.
What?
That is so dope.
What?
Yo, I saw that today and I was like, nah, I gotta show that. That's fire.
Don. Don. What's up with Sweet Tea?
Yo.
You want Sweet Tea?
Yo. Why is Kev up here clowning you, Mike Precise?
Not the drink.
Mike say Mike up here quoting Spice Girls. What do you want? What you really want?
Yeah, that is crazy. Yo, that is wild.
They're good friends, so that's why I'm messing with them. Yo, so listen, fellas. Hey, I'm gonna keep this under wraps for us. I'm actually gonna land the plane. We'll probably revisit this again next week because there is plenty more to talk about. There is not going to be a simple answer to this because, like a lot of everyone has said, the change is going to start with you first. And until you decide to make that change, nothing will change. So, Sean, as a matter of fact, I want to give Sean, my man, some love. People, break out your Samsung, break out your iPhone. This is QR code that will bring you to the YouTube channel that my man Sean, AJ, and Coop. Is that correct?
Yes, AG and Coop. Yep.
AG and Coop on Hip Hop Talks. I'm gonna tell you, they're the genuine articles, so definitely check them out. Tell them the show times, brother.
8:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays.
There it is. And these dudes are on fire, man. So go ahead and check them out. Sean, hey, bro, I appreciate you so much coming through.
Appreciate you guys.
As you know, you are family. So if ever you want to hop in the center, you ain't got to say nothing. Just come on in, man.
No doubt,
Tell me,
no doubt.
send me the link. I got you.
Yes, sir.
All right, so
it's been fun. Appreciate you guys.
Cool.
Queens is here.
Queens get the money. Queens get the money. Yes,
you know, I really don't like you New York dudes.
What is that about?
Because it's not the same when like, you know, you from like North Carolina and you like shout out to Market Street, shout out to Lee Street. It's not the same as you guys from Queens and stuff.
It doesn't sound right. Market Street doesn't sound right. Like it has no panache to it. You know what I mean?
No panache.
Even when you said Market Street, you said it with like you didn't have no energy behind it.
Yeah, because it's like
we can say streets,
right?
Say street, but it's not necessary. Just say Queens.
Oh man.
Hey, Sean, watch this. How about them Cowboys, Sean?
Man, don't get me started. That's trauma right there for me already. That's trauma.
You a Cowboy fan? You
yes, unfortunate.
See, we should have cleared who let this dude on here.
You already know.
who let this, and y'all waited to the end to tell me that, didn't you?
Oh, of course. See, that's strategy. Now Brooklyn keeps on taking it. Here we go, Kevin. Kevin's starting already.
We're not doing this tonight. Hey, but before we go, I talked to you guys and I said something about the poem from Khalil Gibran, and I want to end on this little part of the poem. And like I said, if you guys ever watch Boondocks, you'll probably recognize it. It says, "Your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. It is the bitter potion by which the physician within you heals your sick self. Therefore, trust the physician and drink his remedy in silence and tranquility."
That was deep. No doubt, bars indeed. So, Mike Precise, what would you like to say to people before we head out, brother?
Well, the thing that changed and helped a lot of that stuff with me was giving my life to Christ. Bottom line. Another thing, like I said, I don't know how. It's hard for me to relate to not having somebody in my life, but to those, I'd say find somebody. If it's, join an organization, make some friends. Who do you make an evaluation? Who do you trust, and talk to that person. Open up to them. And if you do have a parent you love and that loves you, that's still with you, ask them about their life. It will reveal so much about your own self. My mother sat me down before I got married. I've been married. It's going to be 29 years.
Woo!
Let's go, brother.
Congrats.
Right? I can't imagine not having that talk with my mother. Greatly impacted how I view marriage, how I view relationships, and I had a talk with my father. And so he was in my life, right? Great, great father, but many issues that he didn't even realize that he had. And so for my sons, I got two grown sons. When I see things in them that are the issues that I have currently and have used to have, the finger goes in the chest. And that we have to be like that as men. I'm not super hard on them, right? I'm not super hard on them, but look, man, it takes a man to raise a man. I mean, moms do great jobs. A lot of excellent, wonderful, great women. My mother did a good job, great job. But when you in your son's life, be up in your son's life. All the way, 150%.
Facts.
And it makes a huge change in their outcome.
No doubt. Good looking out, Mike. D-Ray, what would you like to share?
I'll echo that. I'll say this, and because here at the center, man, dental work is horrible. Here at the center, we believe that everybody has their own beliefs that we may not agree, but we accept it. You know what I mean? And everybody has their position and their opinion. And my opinion is this: find something to believe in that's bigger than yourself, right? Because then once you do that, then now you'll start recognizing your own humanity, right? Now, if you want to ask me what works for me, shoot me an email, inbox me, and I'll tell you. But find something to believe in. And as we're saying down at the bottom, Suicide Crisis Lifeline, dial 988. Help us out there, man. Your life is worth it.
It is. No doubt. And Sean, I'll give you the outro, bro. Let the people know what's up.
Yeah, man. Foster the environment that you feel is healthy for you. Create the ecosystem that you need to find whatever peace that you need, whatever balance that you need, and only allow certain people into that ecosystem. Don't let anything that's going to be invasive that comes into that ecosystem and disrupt the ecosystem. So find that and foster it and nurture it, water it, and hold tight to it and seek the help. Don't be afraid to look for help. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be, swallow the pride and look for ways to lock in with like-minded people and those that have your best interest. I'm sorry, that's a tough thing to.
Go ahead.
You're here. Go ahead.
I apologize, guys.
You're good. Go ahead.
I apologize, guys. Somebody was calling me.
You're good.
But that's all I got to say. Find your ecosystem, foster it, nurture it, take care of it. I want to let certain people in, exclusive access only.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Rock out.
Hey, you left out a part. Create an ecosystem with no cowboys. Create an ecosystem with no Jerry Jones. And
you could take Jerry Jones. I'm cool with that.
That is very true.
And no Aaron Rodgers neither. Sucker.
Oh, no sucker stuff. No.
There'll be none of that. Anyway, hey family, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate you. Listen, please be safe. We'll catch you next weekend. Same bat time, same bat channel. You know how it is. And remember, just like Rakim says, it ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. So always keep it at the center. We love y'all. Be safe. See you next week.
What did Aaron Rodgers do? I missed. I'll call him something.
They used to jam in the center.